little more information about troubleshooting?
Yes. Yes, yes. Um, I have really enjoyed my first session of practice, but it's sure that I need to practice more, and I try to follow the script, but I want also to be spontaneous. So it did work very good a lot, and but I need to practice more, and I really love the the first session. So I'm looking forward to do the second one better than the first one.
Glenda, I'm actually glad you brought that up. So just a reminder to everybody, when we provide you with a script or going forward, if you get a script from someone else, feel free that as long as you keep the content the same, you can change the wording to better reflect how you would say something. Sometimes it's challenging, when you're reading someone else's words to make it sound natural and sound like your own. So feel free that as long as the content remains the same in terms of instructions and information, how you word those instructions and how you word that information, you can tailor a little bit more towards your voice and the way you would say things. So feel free to do that even with this first assignment if you would like. So thank you for bringing that up, Glenda.
Yeah, and practice is really key as well. And also remember that in life, as human beings, we are sometimes our toughest critics. So when you may think you didn't do very well, you did really well for a first try. No problem. You've got this. It's just a question of practicing and going through it a little bit more and making it your own. You've got it.
Thank you. Thank you both.
And Heather, how about you?
I echo what Glenda and Caitlin have said. For me, it was a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed myself. I for sure feel like I need more practice, but I think that's natural for all of us. But again, it was trying to find it in delivering the information my own way, in an organic way that was more myself and my personality. So reading it off a piece of paper just wasn't really. It helped, but I think I need to go over it again and kind of make it my own.
That's right. Okay. Yeah, and we totally encourage that. And Caitlin, you're saying something similar as well.
Yeah, and the practice was great, and I think it's like anything. The more that we do it, the more comfortable I think we'll get with just the process and the material. But having our own presentation or something that we're presenting on, I think it'll just sound a little bit more natural. But knowing that for our assignment, like when we're going to be presenting to 4 people, I believe it's next week, that we can kind of tweak the script and go over it and make it a little bit more our own is helpful.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Martha, did you?
Yeah, one point that I really love in the scripting is when they say words like facilitate as required, because that really gives me, that's where I find my, I've said everything that I need to do. Now I want to really listen to my participants and just work with them and work with the room. So putting facilitate as required into your script is a great way to make it your own.
Yeah, absolutely. And Dominique, we're going to wrap it up with you today.
Well, essentially what I'm saying is that I really appreciated the work that the producer was doing so I could just focus on the script. I realized I was producer first, and I was constantly really on trying to follow where she was, what I was needing to do at the same time. So when my turn came and I hadn't realized that I was actually going to be presenting that day, I thought we were just doing half of it and she was going to be presenter and I was going to be producer. I really appreciated that there was a script because I was not prepared, and I could go verbatim with what was written, and I liked that I could really rely on that script, and that the producer could then just do her work.
Such a great point, Dominique. So we hear that all the time. The people are surprised when they do that very first assignment. They think that the presenting portion is going to be the hard portion. And then when they do it, they're like, wow, the producer is really having to stay engaged and on top of things. And they find, wow, that was very challenging to be the producer. And I think what I love about that first assignment is it shows you the value of the producer. it really takes the load off of the presenter if you've got someone there to help actually manage the classroom with those finer details. So everybody, great, excellent points. And again, Margaret and I were just very impressed with everyone's practice sessions, and we're excited to see you deliver this to your communities and get some feedback from your coworkers or your families or your friends on what they think about this platform. Margaret.
Yeah, first off, it's really nice for you to invite people that know you and like you anyways, because then you'll be more comfortable. But the other thing too about the producer is I like to say that it's a fine dance. You know, you just have to really get into the mode and follow along and assist where you can and answer the chats, and it's really a fine dance of bringing it all together. And when you don't have the producer, and it has happened 4 or 5 times, if the host role gets booted out of the system for some reason, if you get booted out, then you don't have anybody to carry on the course. But if you have a producer and you get booted out, then you have the producer who has a script who just continues to follow along. So it's seamless. So it's really important to have a teammate to work with.
Good point. All right, well, let's jump in. Let's take a look at our agenda for the day. Margaret, over to you.
Okay, so you made it to the second of 8 sessions for how to bring an interactive live presentation to an interactive virtual audience. Today we're going to be continuing on with the theme of Communication 101. So we're going to use the basic tools, the importance of every spoken word, remember to the left, to the right, above, below. And then we started with the roundtable discussion, and we're going to do that each week to address any questions or comments that you have. So always remember to bring those questions and comments with you when you come to class. We're going to be working today, and everything we say and do for a reason. So we're going to show you an activity of how you can set the ground rules as a group. It's a brainstorming activity, and we're going to be demonstrating that. And then because the script is that important, we touched on it in session 1, we're going to touch on it again today, and then we're going to go in more detail at a further session. Just to know the difference between the without a script and with a script. And we call without a script raw. Then we're going to be showing you the red exclamation mark. And some of you have already asked that question, so maybe you could teach that portion of it. That would be great. Then we're going to do a really fun, interactive, you guys are going to sit back, relax, and Joanna and I are going to put on a show for you. We've been practicing, and we've got a show for you, and it's called Body Language Counts. It's about 4 minutes long, and it's really a lot of fun for us to do. And then just before the break, we're going to show you how to send out your personalized invitation. And don't worry about it too much because you're going to get the information in the after-session email as well. And that's the information you're going to use to send out your personal invitation to the demonstration for your folks to come and see it. Then we'll have a well-deserved break, and then we get to do visual therapy, art therapy, a taste of art therapy, just a taste of it. Where we all get to play actually in the interactive virtual classroom. After that, we're going to touch on troubleshooting, Glenda, with audio. We're just going to look at the basic audio. And again, session 7, we're going to have a complete troubleshooting class. The whole class is going to be troubleshooting, but this is just to get you understanding a little bit more about the audio features. And then if we have time, we're going to play an old-fashioned party game called Presenter's Desktop Memory. I don't know if you ever played memory as a kid at a party where you had all these items you had to remember and see if you can write them all down. We're going to talk about the top 10 best practices, and then we're going to go to what's next, the dates and times for presentations and your questions and comments. So it's an action-packed day. Over to you, Joanna.
All right, so as any live classroom, remember ground rules need to be established. So same thing with the virtual classroom. Remember that as a presenter, you have choices. You can have the ground rules preset on a slide that you review with everyone, or you can work with a group. So if you've got a group, like a staff group or a volunteer group that are going to be meeting regularly, go ahead and set the ground rules together, your very first class session, and that will ensure buy-in and acceptance of the rules. So for the next 2 minutes, we're going to be doing a brainstorming exercise on ground rules that you want to see in our group. So go ahead and claim a row with your pointer tool. from your whiteboard toolbar in the upper left-hand corner. And if you overlap somebody, just move your pointer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, that's everybody. And we would like you to use your text tool to the right of your pointer tool and write in any ground rule that you would like to see in our group. So that can be anything from putting your coffee mug up to whatever you feel is important for a group buy-in for the next few weeks of classes. And for Denise and Heather, if you could just move your pointer tools into the actual space, just for those people who maybe have a different size screen, they'll be able to see your name. Great, perfect, excellent, great job. And we'll give you 2 minutes. And give us a green check when you're done. Or a green...
Paul leaves for the house. He says, "Mwah." And when I see your comment, Heather, use coffee, mwah. I think that's how it's spelled.
Margaret, that's funny because my husband is in the field right now. And so we're on the phone this morning and we're getting ready to hang up. He's like, "Give me a kiss." I'm like, "What? I'm not going to give you a kiss over the phone." It's weird.
What? There you go. Now you know how. We've taught you something today. Sorry, it's supposed to be quiet for the introvert learner.
Okay, and then just remember to give us a check mark when you are all done and ready to share. Okay, and Glenda, you're good to go?
Yes, I already wrote, and I did the click.
Okay, yep, that's fine.
Okay.
I was just asking for the check mark instead of the hands clapping. That's all. All right, so just going to go down the row, and actually let's go up the row. We're going to start with Dominique. So Dominique, let's just go up and you read what you've written, and we'll just go up the line.
I wrote discuss break time and possibly how much time is needed and when. So I know we have a break time. I'm not really clear when exactly it is. I know we have some matter to get to. I believe the last time it was 5 minutes. I personally would prefer 10 because I can't do much in 5. But that's just me. So it's just, you know, it's a brainstorm, right? So I was like, I'll put it out there.
Yeah, that's great. So we try to do it at the end of the first hour. And we have tried to keep it to 5 minutes just for, you know, getting as much information in our 2-hour session as we can. But we'll talk about it at the end, so with everyone else. All right, so Caitlin?
Oh, I just was very general about being respectful, but one way for that would be just to make sure you're on time, showing up on time. And if you're not, just sending a message to somebody to let people know.
Great. No, that's a wonderful one. So just letting people know if you're not going to be able to make it. We appreciate that very much. So thank you. Jessica?
Do not interrupt and use the raise hand if you have a question or a comment.
Perfect. Wonderful. I know sometimes Margaret and I make the mistake of not raising our hands, and we cut each other off sometimes too. So like and we even do it, so we have to watch that ourselves. And Glenda?
Yes, mute the microphone if you have a white noise.
Yes.
For example, if you have somebody, if you are in the office and there's a lot of people talking at the same time, so mute the microphone.
Exactly. Or if you have a crazy barky dog like I do, sometimes I've got to mute because that dog likes to bark. Great point, Glenda. And Heather?
Use the coffee mug if you need to leave the session.
Excellent. And Denise?
Limit distractions. Don't have your cell phone going off beside you. And this is our time together, so
wonderful.
Stay focused.
So you mean don't show pictures of your stuffed dog while I'm just kidding, Margaret.
That was good timing.
All right. So Margaret, if you want to advance the slide.
Sure.
Okay, so whenever we do a brainstorming activity, we always encourage you to end that activity with some answers on the next slide, just in case the group doesn't come up with many responses. You might have a very quiet group. Yes, you can be quiet with typing. Some people don't want to participate as much, and so it's a virtual best practice to always have some answers on the next slide, just in case. But as you can see, we pretty much covered all the ground rules that we use on a regular basis. And Margaret, did you want to add anything about anything that anyone said on the previous slide?
Definitely, I'm going to add the 5-minute break halfway point. Yeah, and I also am going to add be respectful and on time.
Yeah, so those are 2 good ones to add to the list. And so for Dominique, since you brought it up, we'll just address it quickly. If for some reason you need to take a little bit longer than the 5 minutes, because we understand sometimes our needs are greater than 5 minutes, just let us know. Type in a little response, I think I'm going to be a little longer than 5 minutes, and then come back in when you can to join us. And just make sure your coffee mug's up. That way when you come back, you take your coffee mug down. We know you're back without having to stop the presentation, okay?
And we do try to have, after the break, an activity that if you are a few minutes late, you're not going to miss any major information.
Exactly. All right. Well done. All right, so Margaret's going to be using those ground rules going forward on our presentation for this class. So great job, everyone.
Absolutely. No more dog sharing. So speaking of sharing, give me a happy face if during your presentations you had the opportunity to learn how to share a session window and learn how to load your presentation. Give me a happy face if you did, or a red X if you did not. So everybody had the opportunity. Good, except Zula. That's good. Okay. So what I'd like to do now is we're going to try as a class to list each of those steps using the detail words. So starting with sharing a session window, and then PowerPoint file. So don't feel bad if you can't remember everything. Just do your best. We're purposefully asking you to try to remember without using the script to demonstrate a point. So I'm going to start by putting the first step in sharing a session window. So the very first step would be to have a ball. Who can tell me the next step? Raise your hand if you can tell me what's the next step once you have the blue and green ball to sharing your session window. Dominique.
You would go to the top of the menu bar and you would go to share.
Perfect. Okay, so you go to the top left-hand side of the menu bar and you'd go share, top of the bar. Okay, Glenda, what's the next thing?
Yes, after you have to click in file.
Okay, we're sharing a session window first, so pick a file, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, and what's after that? Raise your hand to tell me what is next. Somebody else?
My session window.
Okay, Denise, Heather, Jessica, Caitlin. What's after that? Click on my session window. Jessica. Oh, don't forget you're muted.
So we've said click on session window.
Sorry.
Now the steps to share a file.
Okay, so now we're going to So Jessica, what's next on sharing a file?
You select the file?
You select the file. Okay. And the final point, what do you do once you select the file? You press, Glenda,
open.
Do you have the, press what?
Open.
Press open. Awesome. Okay, so here, if we were to explain to a participant how to share a session window and share a presentation, we would say, okay, if you want to share the session window, you have to have the blue and green ball. You go to the top menu bar and click on Share. You click on File, you click on My Session Window, you select the file, and you press Open. So that is a raw. That's just scripted. We just threw it all together, trying to explain, trying to remember all the detail of how we share a session window and a presentation. Let's look if we put it into a script. So first off, in a script, you're going to see that there's a picture of the slide on the script, so we can follow and make sure we're on the right place. Then you're going to see that the producer is in red or a different color, and the presenter is in black or a different color. So when you do your own script, you'll have different colors for each of them. Regardless of the color, if the person is speaking, they're going to be dark, bold. If they're doing an action, it's going to be underlined. And the other thing you're going to see on the script page is timing of that particular slide, how much time it takes for one slide, the 3 minutes there, and then the cumulative timing in the bottom. So if I was to try to explain now how to share a session window, who would like to read this for me? Raise your hand if you'd like to read this for me. Okay, Denise.
I'm going to walk you through how I share my session window, that's hard to say, so that you can see what I'm doing. I will say each step as I'm doing it. First, I must have the green and blue ball to claim the role of presenter. At the top left-hand side of the screen, you will see the words File, Edit, and Share. I'm clicking on Share, then on my session window at the very bottom of the drop-down options. Now you will be able to see my screen and watch each step as I teach you how to share a file. Now to load a slide into the presentation, I am bringing my mouse to the top left-hand side of the screen to the tab that says Share. But this time, I'm clicking on File from the drop-down menu. Then I will select the invitation template file to share and click OK. And voila! Now everyone can see the file on the whiteboard of the virtual presentation.
So when you're teaching, if I was to just teach like this, it would be a little confusing, I think, if it's raw, right? We don't have all the information. We don't know if it's to the left or to the right or where we're bringing our eyes. But when you have presented a script like this, then it's very clear for each person. And one other point, Joanna, before I get to you, one other point that I wanted to share is that when we're scripting, for every one slide, we have one page of script. So it's one-to-one. Go ahead, Joanna.
Yeah, I just want to point out, too, a lot of people question the value of a script, especially if you're someone like me who's just used to, I'm a public speaker who wings it a lot. But if we could just go back that one slide, I think that first slide demonstrates why a script is important. Just is wrong. The information that we put here is wrong, right? If the steps for sharing a session window, go to menu bar and click on share, the next step wouldn't be click on file. The next step would be click on my session window. And then to share your file, again, if you were instructing someone how to do that, we're totally missing. Click on share again, then click on file, right? And so the value of the script is it keeps your information correct. It not only keeps you going at the right pace and it gives you, keeps it organized for your participants, but it actually keeps you in line with what the correct information is as well. And so it's very valuable to use a script to keep you saying exactly what you need to say. And I love scripts now. I didn't ever use them before, and now I try not to do them without, because I love it so much.
Yeah, so those are great points. So why don't you grab your pointers? Oh, Denise, did you have a question? You're muted.
Sorry, when I do public speaking, I normally just have points on my sheet in front of me. Do you ever do that with scripting, or do you actually write everything out?
You can write points. It's important to know your timing, though. So I would practice with speaking it all out, because you have to have your timing has to be right bang on, because you do not want to go over in a virtual class.
Okay.
But you can certainly use point forms, absolutely. I've used point forms before, especially when I'm taking points from a PowerPoint presentation and want to make sure that I've got the information. Joanna, do you use point form?
So I think it depends on the situation. If you have a producer, a point form is not going to help them. Part of the value of the script is that if something happens to your computer, your producer can go on without you. And also the script gives them direction. If you want them highlighting something or doing something specific, a point form isn't necessarily going to do that for them, unless you do point form as your script and then put in their actions. I find, too, the other point I'd make about that is, if I am developing a presentation with information that I am not an expert in, so my staff comes and says, hey, we really would like this presentation on how to build community when you move to a new location. Well, I'm not an expert on building community, but it's fairly easy to get that information, off the internet and build a presentation. I will use a script for that because I am not an expert. Now, if I were to talk about something like, for example, how to use WebEx, I would either not even have a script anymore because I've done it 100 times, and I don't have a producer anymore when I do it, or I would do just point form to keep me on track and keep remember. So I think it really depends on, do you have a producer or not, and how comfortable are you with your subject matter.
And also who's there, who's going to be there. So if you have just one person in there and your system goes down, well, you can send them an email. But if you have 30 people and your system goes down, you want to make sure the show goes on.
Great, thanks. Those are great responses. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. Good question. Joanne, over to you.
Okay. And I'd like to, Dominic just put down in the chat as well, that she likes that others in her office would be able to do her presentation if she's sick or unavailable, or if she moves, right?
Or when she wins the
job.
million.
That's right. So great point, Dominique. Okay, so now that you've seen two different ways of walking the class through the same steps, one being unscripted and raw, and the other, as Margaret did it, scripted, we want to see what you thought of both ways. How did they make you feel? What did you like and dislike about each way? So use your pointer to claim a role, and then use your text tool and write what you feel the difference is between raw and scripted. And you can even say, hey, I sort of like raw better. It's whatever you feel about the two different ways. Okay, and we'll just give you like a minute or two, and then just give us a check when you are done. Or no, let's do a smiley face because I feel like being smiley today. And remember, if you're writing a sentence and you need to go down the line, just hit enter to keep yourself in your box.
Dominic, that's a really good point.
Thank you.
I've had some people ramble too. When they don't have a script or they go off script, they ramble, la 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 la, and they forget where they are, and then they just keep rambling.
We've never done that. We've never done that, Margaret. I don't know what you're talking about. I think every public speaker in their career, or a facilitator or presenter has run into that moment. Yeah, just remember to click away when you're done and to give me a smiley face.
It's a fine dance, Dominic. You're right. It's a great reminder to look at the chat.
Okay, so we're
Denise,
going.
Did you click away?
From the raw? Did you?
I didn't put anything in the raw.
Okay. All right. She's like, I just don't know what I think about it. Okay, so let's start with the greens. Jessica, how about you? What did you like about it or not like about either?
Raw is great because it really allows for spontaneity and adding to the presentation. Scripted is more detailed and comprehensive. However, for people like me, if I read, it will be reading tone. There will be no expression whatsoever in my voice, and it's like I can't concentrate on the expression in what I'm reading. I'm just going to be stuck into the reading. So, but it has both pros and cons, I'd say.
Yeah. And it's also one of the reasons why we highly encourage that when you're practicing a script and with your PowerPoint, that you read it out loud. And I do that. I think I said in my chat like 3 or 4 times. If I'm giving a presentation, I go through the script and I read it out loud because it gives me that comfortable sound when I'm doing it. And it allows for me to ad lib a little bit more because I've got the presentation down. I know the information I need to include, and so that helps. So great point, though. The raw does allow for a lot more spontaneity. Next green is Heather.
Well, I said the same thing, like allows for more spontaneity, and I feel like that could equate a little bit more to more creativity on my part. But then again, if I'm doing something where it's very technical, like say explaining how to share a file or something, I would probably miss important steps in info. So on that aspect, it's not great for me. For scripted, it's definitely clearly organized all the information, which makes it easier to do, and it's easy to reproduce. So like Dominique said, if I hand my presentation off to someone because I'm not in the office, they can reproduce it easily.
I love that. Easy to reproduce. I'm going to use that. Margaret.
When you speak about easy to reproduce, I think of the give and go, and that's the beauty of this program, is that everybody who, when you designed a presentation with a script, you can share it with another MFRC staff. You can share it with another teammate and have them deliver it and them produce it. You can bring 2 communities together. So right now in February, we're doing a workshop with MFRC London, MFRC-PEI. We're doing a workshop for parents on what to expect week by week in boot camp, in training. And they've got a script and it's all ready to go. So we just share it. We're playing nice in the sandbox.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so true. And like, I mean, how often, if you're at an MFRC, if your job is in an MFRC, how often have you heard that we're spending so much money reproducing the same programs across the country?
So much.
Right? I mean, so much. We're spending so much money doing the exact same thing. And so if you can put together a really great virtual deployment support, presentation, then all somebody has to do at a different MFRC is update it to include words that are specific to their location. So, I mean, there's so many ways that using programming like this can help you not reinvent the wheel, as they like to say. Awesome, great points. And let's go to the blues. Glenda, how about you?
Yes, I see that the raw, you can do your subject point by point, but you can miss information. With the script, it's more detailed, it's specific, it's easy to read, it's easy for everyone, so that's it.
Keeps you on track. Yeah, great points, Glenda. Yeah. And Dominique?
I like both. Like, I like the raw. I like the idea of sounding spontaneous, but my preference is the scripted, and I feel like you could actually write your script in a way that sounds natural and spontaneous to you, and with the ability to be able to, add the so you can facilitate as required. You can go off script and sound more natural for a few seconds and then get back on track. So it's like that. It's like you open yourself a window to, like, I'll be myself for a few seconds and then back to the script, which, I've written and I sound like myself. So I'm not necessarily going to be in that reading tone because I'm reading somebody else's words. It's my own words. It's my script. So I prefer scripted.
Okay, great points. All of them were great points. And then let's go to yellow, Denise.
Yeah, I think I need to stay away from the raw because I'm definitely at risk of rambling. So I really like my partner Dominique's point about making the script your own. and that way it'll be in my own voice.
Yeah, that's great. I love making things my own. That always makes me happy. And we're going to end with Brown. So Caitlin.
I see a place for both, like with something like if you're sharing a file or that's a little bit more step-by-step based. I liked the scripted part, but I appreciated the raw when we were doing, when it gave us an opportunity to be interactive. So when we were doing our group rules, and then even though you had the scripted slide next, it still gave people an opportunity to contribute and participate, and then you were able to take those contributions and add them to what was already scripted.
Caitlin, I'm so glad we ended with you because you sort of wrapped it up in that there is benefit to both. And so we, as much as you'll hear Margaret and I talk about scripting, we want that raw aspect of your voice. You're taking this course because you have a voice and you want your voice to be heard to your families and to your coworkers and to your staff. And so we want you to learn how to marry the two. How do you marry that facilitate discussion, the raw version of it, and the scripted part? How do you make it so that it's your own voice? And so great points, everybody, that we really like. So let's recap this for a second. Unless, Margaret, is there anything you wanted to add?
No, I think it's really good.
All right. So scripts are important in a virtual classroom for many reasons. Do I have a volunteer just to read this slide so you don't have to listen to my voice the whole time? Raise your hand if you'd like to read this slide for us. Caitlin, thank you. Just go ahead and read the points, please.
Number 1, to ensure continuity. If the system ever boots out the presenter, then the producer can continue without missing a beat. Number 2, to ensure points are not missed. Number 3, to ensure that each point is brought up and nothing is forgotten. Number 4, to ensure engagement every 3 to 5 minutes. Number 5, ensure that your accumulated timing is accurate. Number 6, that you have started and ended on time, and to be able to share the presentation as a give and go.
Thank you for reading that very much, Caitlin. To ensure engagement every 3 to 5 minutes, which sort of goes back to the rambling part. I know that I can be guilty of that, especially if I know my topic very well or I'm very passionate about my topic. I could talk for 20 minutes straight and forget, oh, people are here and want to be engaged. And so I think that's a great point about scripting we don't want to pass up, is that when you script, you can script in your engagements so that it reminds you, hey, I've got an engagement activity here, even if it's as simple as give me a check or give me a smiley face. And it keeps you from letting your passion take over. So this exercise between raw and scripted really brings home that point of the importance of scripting in a virtual classroom. The more you're familiar with the information, the more you can go off the script and make it your own. Once you're familiar with your script, you don't need to read every word, but rather use it to guide you, keep you on track, and ensure that you include all the information that's relevant, even when you're ad-libbing throughout. Remember that scripts are also great for sharing our presentations, and what we call in our virtual world with Military Family Services is we call it the give and go. And so you heard Margaret mention that in the last slide. The give and go presentation are just scripts and PowerPoints that can be modified with personal logos and information that's relevant to an individual's community. And so you're going to hear us talk about the give and go throughout the next couple of weeks. Okay, and now, Margaret, on to the red exclamation point.
Great. One more point before that, though, Joanna, is the reason here in this activity when we had somebody else read, it was to give another voice, because something as simple as bringing another voice in will re-engage your participants, get them back thinking, oh, that's a different voice, I better pay attention. So that's all part of the activities that we're doing. Something as simple as changing the voice is a way to engage. Dot, 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 the exclamation point. So the red exclamation point, if you're a panelist, which means you're the host or you have the blue and green ball, you're presenting, you can see an exclamation point when a participant goes to a different screen. So if they're going to an email or a Facebook or somewhere online, or maybe they're taking notes in Word, you're going to see a red exclamation point. So a red exclamation point is neither good nor bad, but it is just another tool in our toolbox that we use to make sure that our participants are engaged and following along with us. So if I was in a live classroom, for example, I would see the students on their phones, right? So I would be able to address that right away. But the red exclamation part is just one part of the classroom management tools that we use. Now, I used it one time when we were doing a youth workshop, and it was about resumes, and the whole time this youth had the red exclamation mark right beside their name. And from the very beginning. So I said to my producer, I said, could you chat to make sure that Ian's doing all right over there? And that's not his real name. And so he chatted with Ian, and from the rest of the time, there was no more distraction. He was focused, and he was answering questions and in the chat, and there was no more red exclamation point. So sometimes it's just a question of, re-engaging the participant. Sometimes that's how they take their notes, so that's no problem, just as long as you make sure that they're engaged. And it's real teamwork with the producer. You have to really work together. It's a fine dance. So that's a little bit about the red exclamation point. And I'm going to pass the ball to somebody so you can see what I mean. So I'll start by passing the ball to you, Denise, since you're first on the list. And then what I'm going to do is click and drag the ball to beside your name. And can you see the red exclamation marks on Zula, producer, and Joanna? Denise?
Not on Zula, producer.
No.
No, I can't see them.
So
to the right of their name?
Sure, the right of their name. Oh. Okay.
Does she want to share a session window?
That's interesting. Okay, maybe it's a new twist. Joanna, did you hear about changes in that?
No.
Okay. Well, what I'll do then is I'll ask you to share your session window so we can see it. So if you can go up to share.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't see it, okay. Can you pass the ball back to me?
Okay.
By clicking and dragging the ball to my name.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to go to share and my session window so you can see what that red exclamation looks like.
Interesting. I'm not able to move the ball.
It moves.
Oh.
Did it move?
Yeah.
I didn't see. Okay, I see it now.
So I'm sharing my session window. And it's going to turn blue in just a moment. And you see, because I have the blue and green ball, Zula has an exclamation mark and Joanna.
Yes.
So both those two people are somewhere else. And Jessica now has a exclamation mark. So this is how I can say, oh, okay, so I would ask Jessica a question. Jessica, what's going on? How you doing? To bring her back into the conversation. Great. And she's not able to unmute because I'm sharing my session window. So I'm going to stop sharing. And that's just one other tool that I wanted to share with you today. So for this activity, this is really fun for Joanna and myself. A picture is worth 1,000 words. So we're going to give you a visual that hopefully stays in your mind about when you're giving a virtual presentation. It's really important to, especially in a recording, to be focused, to be looking at the camera, and you'll see which you prefer in a virtual classroom on body language. So I'm going to share my camera at this point. And so are you ready, Joanna?
Ready.
Okie dokie. So do's and don'ts in virtual classroom. Take one, body part of the presenter speaks volumes, and that's the way it goes. Okay, so now. Oh, sorry. Hi. Hi. So my name is Margaret. I am the virtual program coordinator. Just a second. Oh, sorry. So I am the virtual coordinator for MFRC-PEI. Yeah, oh, hi. So, you know, this is a really great platform. And when you do recording, it's really important to be focused and really to know that everybody's really understanding and listening to your presentation so that they can see you and they can really understand everything that you're saying. Oh, sorry, my microphone was off there. So, did you learn a lot from that? Thank you.
No.
So I just want you to capture that, capture all the different body language that was there. And maybe just grab your pointers and find a whiteboard spot and just put 1 or 2 words on what you thought about that presentation. What was right, what was wrong with it. Just really quick, and then we're going to have Joanna present in a different way. Thanks, Joanna.
Distracting.
All right.
Good word.
Great. And give me a check when you're ready to continue. We're not going to address these just yet. We're going to wait till the next one comes on. And Heather, don't forget to click away, and Glenda too. All right. Super. Okay. So Joanna, would you like to put your recording on and maybe do the same thing?
Hello, my name is Joanna, and I am the Virtual Program Developer for Military Family Services US OutCan. I would love to take this opportunity to welcome you and your family to our community. Over the next several minutes, I'll be sharing some basic information about life in the United States for our Canadian military families. At the same time, you get to see the virtual platform that Military Family Services uses in our community to host speakers, have online meetings, and share information with all of you. Thank you and welcome to your community.
Brilliant. So now take a different color and use the text tool to write your points on Joanna's presentation. Try to use a different color if you can.
I think one of the things I always like to stress during this is if you do choose to use your video camera, it's really okay if you've got a script too. So you'll notice like I had a script and I looked at it from time to time. But as long as you're coming back and refocusing on the camera, people, it's like they don't even notice. They know you're reading a script, but they don't even, it's okay because you're refocusing on them.
And practice where to look, too, if you have the camera, so that you make sure that if you're doing a recording, you're looking in the right place. Yeah, so Dominic, she was so not distracting. You're absolutely right. She was focused. She was engaging. You know, she was clear. You're right, Glenda. She had great sound. She did not have a nice bum. She was focused and on point, clear and precise. The other point when you're doing a recording that's really important, and people overlook this sometimes, is to smile. Because when you smile, people can hear that, and they can feel the genuineness in your voice. Like when Joanna was smiling and working on that recording, I felt like, oh, I want to get to know this person. You know? And if you have a presenter who is engaging and who you want to get to know, you're going to want to learn from them, and you're going to want to learn as much as you possibly can. So it's really important to focus, have fun with it, and just really, you know, it's okay if you're reading the script. Just make sure that you're focused and not distracted with pens or pencils or staples. Anything you wanted to add, Joanna?
So that's if you're live, you know, if you're doing live and you decide you'd like to keep it open the whole time, But also, we talked about that you can use this platform to make information recordings. So you don't have any participants, it's just you and your PowerPoint, and you record it for information purposes to be shared at a later date. So what I find effective if you do that, especially like if it's a welcome to, so you're doing a welcome to Halifax recording, for example. What's really nice is if you start the presentation, the recording, with your camera on, and the first slide of you welcoming them, saying hello, we're so happy that you're coming to Halifax, and your face is up, and then taking the video camera down for the bulk of the presentation so that you're not distracting them from the actual presentation, especially if you're just super gorgeous, you know, and people don't want to look away from your beautiful face. And then sometimes too, what I'll do is at the end of the recording is I'll put the video camera back on to say, thank you so much for listening to the recording. We're you know, welcome to our community. We look forward to hearing from you. And then they end with my smile then. So you can put the camera on and off as well.
Yeah.
And
the one thing you want to make sure, though, if you do take your camera off, which is a great point to do, have it on in the beginning and then take it off, is let them know, because otherwise they may think they're having IT issues. Super. So those are just some really great reminder points. And for anybody who has been teaching, and I imagine your facilitators, you're very used to the live classroom, these are just some pointers for the virtual classroom. All right, so this week, in the next 2 weeks, there's no class next week. So the next 2 weeks, we're going to be delivering this demonstration of the virtual tools to 4 of your community members. So you're going to be inviting those guests to join us. And in the after session email today, I'm going to send you all of this, so you don't have to write it down, on how to invite your guests. Because sometimes when you're inviting the guests, they may be a little nervous or intimidated by the IT, so you want to make it as easy as possible so that they can go step by step. The first thing you need to do is choose the date and time, and many of us have already done that in the practice session, so that's great. That's check. Then once you've chosen your date, you want to talk to the virtual coordinator who's in charge of administering the WebEx license. So that would be me, and I've already set up those sessions for you. And then this is going to be the next part that I'm going to do. I will send you the registration link with a personalized email that you can send out, tweak for your families, and then send out with your personalizing on it. And then you want to prepare a participant checklist before your session so that you and your producer will have the information of the phone number, the email, in case anybody needs help logging on. So that's all the parts of inviting your guests. Once they've confirmed, you do the participant checklist. And we're going to share this in the after session email today, so you don't have to take notes. It's also in your workbook. So there are many different ways to use the tools. So for the audio, there's 2 ways you can choose. For invitations, there's 4 ways you can choose, but I'm only going to share with you one personalized invitation. So what I will do is I've set up your registration, your demonstration date and time in the WebEx license. Then I'm going to be sending you this, this email with the link to register. And then you're going to be sending out an email using that link with steps that they need to register, so that makes it easier for them. So for example, you'll put the link, welcome. You'll want to put a little blurb about the session. I'm excited to share with you about this really cool virtual demonstration so you can see how easy it is to log in. 1 or 2 sentences. To register to the class, go to, and you're going to insert the link that I give you into here. And then you're going to click and register input field. So you have to tell them that's what you have to do next. And then an email will be sent to you with the joining instructions. On the day and time of the session, please follow directions to log in on the session on an internet computer. It's really important you say that in the invitation because WebEx won't work on the D1 and has limited capabilities on tablets and smartphones. So you also want to tell them please log in, a few minutes early and use computer for audio because it's a clearer feed. And the reason we want you to log in a few minutes early is so we can help you if you need some help. And then, of course, I'm personalizing it. Our world is a small planet. Enjoy the connections. Cheers. So you can personalize it any way you like that way, but you want to add really important information about how to log in so it's step by step and simple. Are there any questions on the invitation template? And when I send it in the after session email, excuse me, I'm all stuffed up. When I send it in the after session email, please feel free to ask me any questions or thoughts you have about it. No questions? Joanna?
The only thing I would add to that is that if you are copying and pasting the link into a new email that you're personalizing,
Yes.
before you hit send, always make sure that the link has remained intact. So click on it and make sure that it opens up to the WebEx registration page, because sometimes when you copy and paste, or if it got sent, forwarded or whatever, it can break the link. So you just always want to make sure that that link remains intact.
Absolutely. That's a really great point. Okay, so if there's no other questions, we're going to break for 5 minutes. And we can, give me a green check. Would you like to make it 6 minutes? We're stopped a little early, so give me a green check if you want me to put 6 minutes on my board.
I'll take 6 minutes.
All right.
I'll take your 6 minutes.
And I'll raise you. All right, so I'm going to put 6 minutes on the board, and we'll be back for a really fun taste of art therapy. See you soon. 1 minute has gone by, so I started at 5. Hi, give us a green check when we're back, or a happy face, or a hello.
Just chewing my salad here.
Oh, you needed 8 minutes.
I know. I needed 1 more minute.
Time is valuable, that is for sure.
Felt like such a luxury taking an extra minute. I'm like, ooh, Dominique is onto something. I have to, when you work from home, you sort of have to, you just don't have those normal breaks built into your day, so sometimes you have to remind yourself, hey, take a break.
Right.
Stand up, get up. All right, so remember, just put up a check or a smiley when you're back. Take down your coffee mug so we know. And as soon as everyone's back here. All right.
I love this activity.
Yeah, this is a great activity. So,
I even put one for you there today.
Oh, you did? Okay. I'll join in the fun. All right. So this next activity was an icebreaker designed by a student from a previous class for her second assignment. This icebreaker activity gives participants a taste of how art therapy can be adapted from a live to a virtual classroom. So it's a perfect example. So what I'm going to ask each of you to do is up at the top of your screen, right above the whiteboard toolbar, you should see a couple of tabs. And one of those tabs says Art Therapy. I'd like you each to click on that tab. And then each of you has been given a page with your name on it. I want you to click on the drop-down arrow to the right of the one under the Art Therapy tab and find your page that has your name on it. When you've located your page, I'd like you to give me, let's do the X instead of the check. Give me an X when you found yours.
Caitlin's found hers, Heather's found hers, Glenda, Denise.
So Dominique?
Dominique, did you find yours? There we go.
All right, and then we'll just catch Jessica up when she joins us again. All right. You will see that the slide has been divided into 2 sections, the Work Me and the Home Me. Take a few minutes to use the drawing tool, so any of those whiteboard tools, lines, squares, circles, the pencil tool, the marker tool, etc. You can change the colors. And we want you to draw a picture about something special about your work life or what your work life looks like, and then something about your home that represents you at home. So it can be a hobby or your family or anything that speaks to you about your home life. And when we're done, we will go to each person's page and you can tell us all about your pictures. So when you're ready to share, you're going to give us a smiley face. So go ahead and start your drawing. We'll give you a few minutes to do this, and then we'll come back after you give us all your smiley faces.
One thing it's important to remember if you're ever deciding to do a workshop like an activity like this is the person with the green and blue ball has to remain motionless and cannot go to any slide or touch anything, because if I touch anything, it will bring everybody back to me. La 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 la. I'll give you a little musical entertainment. La 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 la.
So Jessica, if you're back, what you need to do is go up to the tab at the top left-hand side of the screen that says Art Therapy. Click on the Art Therapy tab, and then using the arrow over button, find the page that has your name on it, and then just draw a picture of your work view and a picture of your home view.
Glenda, I love how positive you are. I love that smile.
Thank you.
And then just remember to give us a smiley face when you're done.
Give you about another 2 minutes. One more minute. We're just going to wrap up. Caitlin, is the check mark because you're done? You're muted there. Hey, that's a different kind of smile. Heather, I like that one with the side profile.
And Caitlin, are you good to go?
Yeah.
Perfect, thank you. All right, so Margaret, do you want to just have volunteers, or do you just want to go down the row?
Why don't we go down the row?
Dealer's choice. All right.
Dealer's choice.
All right.
I love it.
So this is Dominic. Dominic, tell us a little bit about the work you and the home you.
Well, the work me loves my work. I get to, all the little lines are that I get to reach out to people everywhere. One of the things I love about my work is that I get to travel. That is a purple airplane. I love D&D. I love this community. I love the families. I love that the Ombudsman's office is there to serve and to help. So that's the work me. I'm really happy I have a job that I love. And the home me, well, there's me, who's the mommy, and Larry, and together we have 5 children. And family is everything. It makes me feel really rich and fulfilled, and yeah, that's the home me. I love being a mom.
I love it. I love it that you love your work, and I love it that you love your home. I like there's hearts. I like that there's hearts on both sides of that. And 5 kids.
a little bit busy.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's a
A
wonderful.
little bit.
Let me just say, I'm the youngest of 5 children, and I loved coming from a big family. I love all my siblings. It's wonderful. I love big families.
Thank you.
All right, who's next on our art therapy sharing session? Denise, share with us.
All right, I don't know if you can tell what that is on the Work Me side, but that's actually a big picture frame because I'm kind of known as a big picture person. I can get beyond the small details and examine things from a larger scale. I'm also very good at making connections. On the Home Me, that is a picture of a plant in a pot. I put it up too high. I couldn't put a flower on the top. Not that I'm a gardener, but I'm a nurturer. So whether it's my family, my friends, or as we were chatting before the session, I take in foster dogs. Nurturing is very important to me in the home and in my community.
That just brought a little tear to my eye.
Oh dear. You know what? I think we all have a lot in common here.
Oh my gosh, I love it. So I love that you took a little different take on it and you used your pictures to sort of represent your personality at each of those places. So that's really cool. I love the plant representing that. That's amazing. I kill plants. They never survive. I don't even bother anymore. I'm terrible with that. Maybe I was not made to be a nurturer. Oh, beautiful. I love that. All right, Glenda.
Hi. But Denise and I, we have a little bit the same vision. At work, I love communication. I love what I do, and I love to be there to help the team when and where they need it. So I love being here. At home, my family is everything. So here in Canada, I am with my husband and my child. I have 1 child. And the rest of my family, it's all around the world. But that is it. That's it.
Wow, there's lots of joy in this picture too.
I know, lots of hearts in here. Oh, that's wonderful. And Caitlin.
Okay, so for the Work Me, the approach I went with is that I feel in my jobs, I'm fortunate that I get to wear lots of different hats. And I get to work with clients. I'm working on a pilot project right now, as well as sitting on the PSI, or the social work team. So it provides a lot of diversity. I'm learning a lot of new skills, and that is helpful. And the Home Me, I just went to an activity that I try to do every single day that really grounds me, and it's walking out in nature with my dog.
I love the 3 hats. That's so cute. I like it that they're top hats.
Yeah.
That's great. I love that. And yes, aren't our animals amazing for grounding us and for getting us out and moving? So wonderful. I like your sunshine too. Jessica.
I am absolutely not creative. Even figure 6 is a little above me. So I decided to use the words instead.
I like that.
Well, there's 2 me. There's the Work Me, which is a lot more extroverted, social, and outgoing. Organized, actually, too. And then there's the Home Me, which is the total opposite of everything. I'm a very private person. I only like to share with my spouse, and I am not extroverted nor social in my personal life. So
this is
so
what we call
your home is your
introvert.
castle. Your home is your special place. That's wonderful. Yes. Extrovert, introvert. That's right, Joanna.
And that's actually a thing. That really is a thing. I know because I am one. Perfect. And you know what? Words are art as well sometimes. And so we appreciate your words. Thank you for sharing that, Jessica. Thank you.
And anything goes in this activity. And look how wonderful and creative everybody's been.
Heather.
Okay, well, Picasso I am not. But for me, the Work Me, it's kind of interesting because I live and work in my community. So like I literally live right across the road from where I work. So for me, it's great because everything that we implement, I see. I see it not only on the work side, but in the community side as well. So it's really kind of interesting, and I love the fact that what I do affects my community in a positive way. And it's interesting that afterwards, you know, if I run into someone, you know, at Canex or something, I can see the difference that our programs have done. So it's unique living and working kind of in the same environment. And then the homie, those are pictures of my kids. There's 10 years difference between the two of them. So my daughter's, she's still quite young, and my son's 19, and he's going to be leaving this year. So he's the one who kind of made me grow up. So I've kind of grown up with him a little bit, and I'm growing up with my daughter as well in a different way. So for me, they're kind of like the center of my world.
Obviously, we have a group that family is important to us. They're beautiful. And I love what you said about that, just being able to see what you do in your own community because you live there. That's amazing. And what's cool is your kids get to see that too, so they get to see that your work is impacting their community. So that's really awesome. Thank you so much, Heather, for sharing that. That's beautiful.
No problem.
Oh, there's no Shelley. Okay, here's my terrible drawing, everybody. You think
It's
as much
gorgeous.
as I work on these things.
I love my lips.
So I actually use a dining room table as my desk. I didn't have time to draw that. And I have two computers set up, full screen computer set up because of all the web work that I do, and basically my whole life is online. It's crazy because I hate computers, but that's the nature of the beast. So I spend a lot of my time on that new website. I know there are some of you here who can sympathize with me on that. And then I spend a lot of my time looking at Margaret's talking head on WebEx, and that's her beautiful red lips. And in the lower left-hand corner, that is my work and home life overlapping with Tiggs, the international WebEx sensation. He's usually in the office with me, meowing and putting his butt in front of the camera. He's not here today, though. He decided to stay downstairs. And then the homie, I'm going through a contemplative period right now where I'm spending time reading my Bible and spending time meditating and praying. And I'm also sing. I sing a lot, and so I sing at home a lot. So those are the two sides of me. Yeah, that's my cat, Glenda. I know. It's really hard to draw a fluffy cat with the WebEx tool. Oh, all right.
Well
and
done.
Did everybody get a chance to share? We got everybody, right?
Yes, we did.
Awesome. Great.
You know, every time we do this activity, I'm excited because I get to know a little bit more about the participants, the students in the class, and I'm so wowed by the difference in their creativity. Everybody is so creative in their own way. I never would have thought to write it down, and oh my gosh, Jessica, that's so smart. You know, anything is possible in the interactive virtual classroom. So thank you for playing that with us. So now we're gonna switch gears a little bit from creativity to more troubleshooting. So Glenda, this may be good for you, and it's just a tip of the iceberg. So all we're gonna do today is talk to you about audio, and not even in-depth audio, just the basics of audio. So let's start here. Put in the chat. You lost me? You got me back? I was just saying how good has been the audio. Can you hear me now?
Just a second.
Okay. I was just seeing how good it could be in the audio. Anyway, so put in the chat, I welcome you to put in the chat to all participants the 2 ways that we can use our audio. So how do we log into audio? What are the 2 ways? Everybody logged in one way, but what's another way? So write down. Let's see. Telephone, computer. Right, you got it. Telephone, computer, telephone, computer. Good. Awesome. Okay, so that's the very first part that we wanted to bring to the table. In order to get to the audio, you have to click on this little box. But as I said earlier, there's more than one way to do it. So if you'll notice in the top left-hand side, there's also an audio box. And both lead you to the same place. But it's easier for us to show participants where the audio box is on the right-hand side underneath the hand than the one on the top. So that's why we use that one more often. So that's where the audio box is. That's where we can choose to use the phone or the computer for audio. Okay. So now we're going to look at what does it look like when you use the audio to call on the phone. And this is a really hard picture to see, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my session window so that you can see what I see, and we'll go through the phone joining using the phone login. The thing with using the phone login is it does cost a little bit more money, but sometimes you have to go that route, and that's okay. So if I press audio, I can press it here on the right-hand side, or if I press it on the top left-hand side and go to audio conference, it will bring up the same box. And if I use the phone for audio, then I have the directions, 1, 2, 3. This is what I do. I call in this number, I enter this access code and this number, and they'll prompt me for these 2 access codes. Now, I have set up so that I don't have the toll-free or the automatic WebEx calls the person, because those are really expensive. So you can set up different parts in your behind the scenes, but we're not even going to talk about that in any detail. So when you click here, you would phone this number, you would put in this access code, and then you would have a telephone by your name. Okay, so that's how you would join using the telephone. And you would also be able to see the presentation just like normal, but you're just using the telephone for your audio. It's a little bit difficult, especially if you use a headset, because the telephone you have to hold in your hand, and to use the tools is kind of tough. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is share with you how to log in using your computer for audio. So again, I'm sharing my session window. I'm going to click on audio. This time I'm going to click on the audio underneath the hand, and the audio box pops up. And when I use the computer for audio, I would click on this green rectangle right here, and then it turns red once I'm connected. Now the other thing that we want to do, if we're having audio problems, we'll ask somebody to test the speaker microphone. Now if I was to test the speaker microphone right now, my voice would be gone. You wouldn't hear me. So Joanna is going to be my voice, and she's going to walk me through how you would troubleshoot somebody who's trying to log on or change, maybe their audio is not working. So as soon as I press the test speaker microphone, you will no longer be able to hear my voice. So Joanna will take over. You ready, Joanna?
Ready.
Okay.
So once you click on test speaker microphone, go up to the select a speaker to test, and from the drop-down box, select the USB headset, and then click on the word test. And then you'll see that the volume, you'll see that the blue line goes, and it shows you that the volume is coming through your headset. If you don't have a headset, you click on the opposite one, and then that means it's coming directly through her computer speakers. Then move down to microphone, select a microphone to test, and again, click on the drop down, and then select the matching microphone that matches to the speaker. So a USB headset, and then just simply talk into the microphone, and it is going to show you that it's picking up her mic because the blue line comes over. All right, and then just click OK, and that connects you, and you should be connected.
And then we're back. So we've gone through how to test your speaker and your microphone. And this is just very simple troubleshooting. Okay, now I'm going to stop sharing. Oops. Okay, this is hard to see, isn't it? Okay, so I can tell whether somebody's joined by computer, by telephone, or have not joined yet. So when you look at the first picture, there's no headset. That means that there's no audio, so they cannot hear. So I would troubleshoot with them either by calling them or working with them on chat to get them to do those steps. Click on the audio button, join using computer for audio or phone. If they've joined using the phone, that's the second picture, I may ask them to try to join using the computer. But if they're happy with the phone and it's working and it's last minute, at the end of it's right before session start, we'll keep them there. And then if they're on the computer, you see a different computer screen that tells me that they've logged into audio using computer. So those are all the things that I look at when I'm troubleshooting the audio. Have they logged in at all with audio? That's probably why they can't hear. And the other thing I often ask is, do you have a headset or microphone? Okay. So now this activity that Dominique, do you have a question?
No, just a comment. The first day I logged in, I couldn't hear you, but I could see you. We managed to find the audio by gesturing or whatever.
Yes.
You just kind of, I guess, improvise, because I'm not seeing that. Like.
So the first day you tried out, there was no headset beside your name. You see beside your name now, Dominique, the little computer?
Yep.
But when you first logged in, there was no computer, there was nothing there. So I knew that you had a system that worked, but you haven't logged in, completed the login process.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. Great question. So I've been doing this for 7 years, and it took me about 6 months to feel a little comfortable. And my staff said, well, you know, don't be afraid. You can't break WebEx. And they said, click on that red rectangle. And I said, what? I said, I don't want to click on the red rectangle. Red means don't touch. And they said, no, that's just, you can clear and make your audio better if you need to. And so then I clicked on it once, and then I clicked back using computer for audio again to get back in, and nothing happened. I didn't break it. So instead of you having to wait 6 months, I thought we'd do this today. So I'd like everybody to go to their audio and click the red rectangle, and then join out using computer for audio again. Go for it. I'm always afraid we're going to lose everybody at this point, Joy. They're gone. Here we go. So was that scary? How did that make you feel when were waiting for Glenda?
Yeah. She put her question mark up. I don't know if that means she's not sure what to do or.
Okay, so this is a great visual here, right here. So what I'm going to do is, Glenda, please log on. There we go. I was just going to put it on thing. Hi, Glenda, you're back. So that just goes to show you that you cannot break WebEx. There's no way. We've tried. So you're allowed to click on the leave audio. In fact, sometimes it improves your audio. And that's another troubleshoot. If you can ask them to leave audio and come back, and sometimes it's better, just like magic.
It's like it reestablishes the connection or something. I'm not sure what it does exactly, but if it's spotty and you're breaking up a little bit, sometimes just logging off and logging back on just reestablishes the connection. And
you noticed when you logged off, you didn't leave the whole classroom. You just logged off your audio. So you have two parts of your body here. You have your computer body and your audio body. If you leave the audio, you're still being able to see the screen. Any questions or comments or thoughts on that? Again, session 7, we're going to do a major troubleshooting day. All righty. Whoops.
All right.
Sorry. Whoop.
That's all right.
Over to you, Joanna.
That's all right. That's all right. So our next activity of the day is a takeoff of the old-fashioned party game called Memory. When we change the slide, you will have 30 seconds to look at the next screen, which has a list of 12 items that you should have on your presenter and producer desktop, or at least that we encourage you to have on your presenter or producer desk. And when we say desk, we mean your physical desk, not your computer desktop. After the 30 seconds has timed out, we'll show you a blank numbered slide and ask you, as a team, to work together to write the 12 items in the same order. So here's the rules to the game. Don't write them down. You have to use your memory. At any point during this exercise, you're allowed to speak to each other. We want the items in the exact same order. Okay? So give me a green check or just a gray check when you are ready to go. So you're
going to have 30 seconds, and it's on your physical desk right now as a virtual coordinator. What do you need to have on your physical desk? You can't write it down. We're going to give you the list, and we want you to replicate it in the same order, and you can speak to one another. Glenda.
Okay. No. I would like to you repeat all the game because I didn't understand very well. But
okay.
I think I got it.
Okay, so we're going to show you the 12 now, and we want them in the same order. You ready?
Yes.
Okay. And remember, you can work as a team.
As a team, I can get 10, 11, 12.
I can do 7, 8, 9.
I'll do 1, 2, 3.
Oh.
4, 5, 6.
All right, and then somebody can be
we have them all
over here.
Okay, you ready to go?
All right.
Got 5 seconds. And go. Use your text tools and write them in the right order. I don't know that I could do this job, Joanna. I'm not very good at memory.
You know, I'm pretty bad at it too. That's funny. That's what the team is for.
That's right. Go to town green. Woohoo! And just as a visual, sometimes that's why we ask people to claim a pointer with their row and then use the text tool so they don't write over top of one another.
I think we just had 2 people on each on the 3.
It's cool though. Look, it looks like it's really pretty. I like it. I think we should do it more often. It's pretty cool. They're both the same words.
All right, cool. So let's take a look and let's see how we did. So 1, 2, 3, soundproof room, nearby restroom, and an extra computer. Perfect. High-speed internet, a telephone, and a number for technical support. Not like I've used that 100 times. Right,
yes.
Participant checklist, do not disturb, and headset. Good job. Water bottle, pen and paper, and copies of handouts. Excellent. So a couple of things here. This activity shows how you can engage in team building activities using the virtual classroom. So while we are trying to show you that here are some things you need to have as a virtual presenter or producer, it also demonstrates how you can develop an actual team building virtual workshop. Remember, our class is how do you adapt live presentations to a virtual classroom. So this is an example of adapting a memory game that you would do in a live classroom to the virtual classroom. And so here we go, a soundproof room, if you have one. Obviously, Margaret and I work from home, so sometimes our dogs can get a little bit loud, but if you've got one, that would be great. A restroom that you don't have to run to in case you need to get to it fast. If you have access to an extra computer to act as your Zula producer that like Margaret uses, we encourage that. High-speed internet is pretty much essential these days for anything using the internet. A telephone, I use the telephone all the time to contact participants to help walk them through setup sometimes if they're having trouble logging in. The number for live technical support, your participant checklist, a do not disturb sign. This is important in your cubicles, especially when people are used to just walking right into your cubicle. Your headset, 95% of the time we encourage headset usage. It helps block out background sounds and keeps your voice more focused for your attendees. A water bottle, we say water bottle, not a water jug, because if your jug spills, you can ruin your computer. So something with a cap.
Now, just 1 second before you go on from the water bottle, not a water jug. This will be in a final test in session 8, so make sure that you
remember this. It's a question that Margaret gives. And then a pen and paper, and of course copies of all handouts. And by handouts, that means if you as a presenter have actual handouts that you want your participants to have, make sure that you have those handouts ready to be shared. Okay? All right, and so there you go. There is a team building exercise that I'd say the first like 3 or 4 classes, nobody worked together. It was just people ran, like it was total silence. Nobody talked to each other, and usually those were pretty much a disaster. Only a few of them got, like a few things got put in the right place. So good job starting to work together there. I think you finally got it there after a few seconds of trying to figure out who's going to do what. So great job, everybody.
Okay, so throughout this, the next 6 series, throughout this whole process, we want to really highlight and bring your attention to the best practices in virtual outreach. So bring your pointer to one of the best practices. I'm going to ask you to explain it for me. So everybody pick a different one.
Let's see.
Okay, great. So Denise, less is more. Tell me about that.
Write a good script and stick to it. You can ad-lib sometimes, but don't go too far off the mark. And on the PowerPoint presentation, just keep it nice and clean and easy to read.
You got it. Exactly. Less is more. Yeah, try to say, that's another reason why it's 1-page script to 1-page slide, because you don't want to be overly talking on each slide. So you want to engage, it's 1-to-1, less is more. Great. Fantastic. And Glenda?
Yes, script and presentation 1-to-1, it means that we have to have a script with all the detailed information possible with the same slide of the presentation that we are sharing with our participants.
Exactly. So every slide has 1 page of script. Terrific. Okay, Heather, patience. Silence is golden but can be noisy. What does that mean?
I think it generally means that, just be aware that everyone has different computer levels of ability. So some people are going to take a little bit longer to understand something, and that's okay. And just make sure that everyone is listening and you allow people to finish their sentences before you carry on to someone else.
I've been doing this for many years, and that's the first time I've heard with reference to the computer that they may not be comfortable using it. That is a brilliant point. Oh my goodness, I never thought of that, Heather. Thank you.
No problem.
So what I think of it is sometimes your introverts need time to process the information. And for me, who's an extrovert, to give them that time is very loud for me. So silence is very noisy, but it's important for me to give it to them, give that, have time when I say it's a minute and just give a minute to process. So that's where it comes from me, but I really like where you brought it in from being patient. Excellent. And Jessica.
Preparing an answer sheet with each brainstorming session. It makes the conversation flow if, for example, people are hard to engage or just don't know the answer. Yeah, sorry.
Absolutely. No, that's exactly right. So that's one of the best practices, is to always have the answer sheet ready to go. Sometimes you're going to have great discussions, and sometimes you're going to have a quiet class. And a quiet class is hard to teach sometimes. Caitlin.
Communicate clearly and smile. So I liked how we've been using just short, clear directions of how to do things. For example, like direct your eyes to the top left-hand corner of the screen. That's very clear communication. And then I believe energy can transfer virtually. So even if you can't see me, you can tell that I have sort of a smile in my voice. Versus somebody who is not transmitting a discussion of being happy, maybe they're in a bad mood or something. You can just tell.
So true.
What do you say about smiling, Joanna?
I say that a smile can be heard.
Yes, you do. And Caitlin, if you don't mind, I might like to borrow that phrase, energy can transfer virtually, because that is exactly what it is. You can tell right through the telephone lines whether somebody's with you or not.
Mm-hmm.
Cool, I like that. Thank you. Dominique.
Engage participants every 3 to 5 minutes. I think this is important to make sure everybody is understanding what's going on, that you haven't lost people to either boredom if they're not partaking or actively voicing opinions or thoughts, because perhaps they are introverts and that's not in their comfort zones. I think this is a really good way to make sure everybody's on board.
And when I gave a demonstration one time to Veterans Affairs, the comment that I got back was, oh my gosh, it wasn't death by PowerPoint.
Yeah.
So that's just the key, you know, engaging a little bit goes such a long way. You're absolutely right. Thank you for sharing that. And Joanna, practice.
Yeah, I just feel like, you know, with any new technology, you know, just practicing and feeling comfortable with the classroom itself, besides practicing your script and everything, but just practicing and being comfortable with your virtual classroom, whether that's WebEx or if you go with a different kind of classroom, which is why I encourage that when Margaret offers office hours, virtual office hours, that you, if you can, try to join them so that you get a chance to click on things and try things and share things and get more familiar with the classroom.
And that's a great question. We're going to do office hours next week because there's no class. So a picture is worth 1,000 words. That's just basically, you know, teach to your visual learner, your auditory learner. It's really important to add little pictures just to make it fun, just like you're going to do for your demonstration presentation. Hopefully you'll add little pictures to make it fun and engaging, your logos. And partner for troubleshooting and change of voice. It's really important to partner when you do virtual presentations, if only to get to help with all the people logging in, but to have a new voice and to help if something happens, so the partner can follow along in the script. So these are the 10 best practice tips that we thought of in the virtual classroom. Oh, start and finish on time. If you're not 15 minutes early, you're late. That's the other one. Super. All right, so we are coming down to the wire.
Dominique, I think, has a question.
Dominique, go ahead.
With regards to best practices, do numbers of attendees, does that ever fall into, like, I recommend, or best practices no more than 10, or?
You know, that's a great question. So what we teach are interactive virtual workshops. There's webinars that are one-on-one, that are one person speaking to hundreds of people with no engagement, and there's a great place for that. So our license has a maximum of 30, and we've been able to do some interactivity with 30, but it's tough. So I would say 20 works best with interaction, depending on the subject matter, though. Here we have 8, and 8 is the maximum that we'll accept in the classroom because you really want to have a lot of interaction. Joanna, do you have a thought on that?
I do. I think that you can still have an engaging presentation, even if you are above that 10, 15, 20 mark. You just have to have smaller engagements, right? Obviously, you can't do that the art therapy icebreaker with 40 people. You'd be there all day just doing that one icebreaker. But you can ask for checks and X's and raise hands and
give a
smiley
poll.
faces. You can do a poll. You can give them the freedom to chat throughout the session, which is why we're very big in allowing chats to just go on throughout the session between everybody, because that, again, it keeps them engaged. You can show a video, as Margaret put there, so you can share like a YouTube video or an MP4 file. So it's all about tailoring. You can still engage your participants every 3 to 5 minutes. You're just going to be doing a different kind of engagement with a larger crowd.
Thank you.
Excellent questions. Keep them coming.
All right, so what is next? This is where we're to the point where you and your partner will be giving the actual demonstration of the virtual classroom tools to 2 people from each of your communities. So it's the same thing. We're going to have you both come the same day, and you're going to do it just like you practice. Somebody starts, somebody finishes as presenter, and then you switch. This can be coworkers, friends, or families, basically anyone who you would like to come support you. So again, just 2 people, 4 participants total, 2 from each of your communities. So you're going to want to review your script and presentation, talk it out loud a few times, make sure you've got your logos and your pictures, your bio pictures up, and go ahead and review the script and make it your own. Choose your 4 participants. Once Margaret has booked the session for you, she will give you the invitation. So you'll send out that invitation that you have personalized, and you'll be receiving in the after session email some information about that. Remember that on the day of the presentation, we ask that you log into the demonstration session 30 minutes prior to the start time to prepare and set up the virtual meeting room. So assigning privileges, loading the file, making sure your audio is good. Then you will be delivering the presentation of the demonstration of virtual tools. After you've done that, we want you to prepare any questions, comments, or thoughts about the delivery and how it went. And we'll address that in the open forum discussion at the beginning of our next class, session 3, which is on the 31st of January. Oh, wait, that's not right. On the 1st, what day is that? The 1st of, there it is, the 1st of February. Sorry about that. I was looking at the wrong date. Okay, so Heather and Shelley are doing theirs on the 23rd at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Danny and Glenda the 25th at 9. Dominique and Denise and Caitlin and Jessica, we need to come up with a time next week. And I know, I can't remember which group it was that somebody was saying asking for an evening time, and so we need to figure that out. So before we hang up today, we'll do that for our 2 groups.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. That's what we're doing. Any questions about that?
I'm going to have office hours at noon next Wednesday, so same time as class, but you don't have to come. I would ask, though, if you will be coming to let me know, and I'll put that in the after session email, just so I'm not in the office all by myself. But we will be having office hours, and that's when you can come and ask questions. You can play with the tools. It's all you. So I don't have anything planned or prepared. Whatever you want to know, I'll show you. Awesome.
All right, well, that wraps it up. Like I said, if we could just have Dominique and Denise and Caitlin and Jessica just stay on for just a couple of minutes, and we'll get your sessions set up. Any questions or comments before the rest of you leave?
Yeah.
Okay, everybody else is free to go. And good luck for those of you who have already booked on your presentations. We'll meet back here in 2 weeks, and I look forward to hearing how you did. And for my ladies, if you can just hold on with me for a minute. And
Heather, if you can stay on for just a moment as well.
Oh, I sure can. All right,
Great.
everybody. Everybody else can leave.
Okay.
Have a good day.
Thanks again. It was a great class. I really enjoyed being with you. You bring me joy.
Thank you.
Do you want Heather first, then Margaret?
Yes, please.
Stay on. Okay.
Yeah. So Heather, I heard from. I'm just saving this document. I heard from Shelley, and she was apparently still going to be coming.
Okay, perfect.
But she wasn't here today, and she didn't tell me she wasn't coming today. So I don't know. I don't have an answer for you. It may be you and I together, or maybe her.
Okay. I'll try reaching out to her again and see if what she's doing, and then that way I can at least send her the presentation that's done, the part of the presentation. So.
Awesome. That's wonderful. Thank you.
Okay, thanks so
much. And enjoy your day.
You too. Take care.
Bye.
Yeah, have a good day. All right, let's start with Dominique and Denise. So basically what we need is to schedule a time. So you need to give yourself about 1.5 hours out of your day, half hour beforehand to join, and then the hour for the presentation. And it has to be delivered by the 31st of January, January. I don't even know what month I'm in. And so same for Caitlin and Jessica. So we're just, Margaret's just sharing her website so that we can see, you know, what dates and times are available.
Perfect.
If you want to click on the
I'm
upcoming.
pressing upcoming.
All right, so Dominic and Denise, let's start with you. I think one of you said there was a couple of days during the week that there's just no way you could do it. So let's start with the day we can do it.
Does Wednesday work? Wednesday
Yes.
or Thursday, does that work?
Absolutely. Either one.
So that's 25th and 26th. So we've got a 9 a.m. demonstration.
I'm not here yet at that time.
That's okay. That's somebody else. So that's somebody else is already giving it. I can do so we could do an 11 o'clock, a 12 o'clock, a 1 o'clock, a 2 o'clock, a 3 o'clock on the 25th. Does any of those times sound good to you?
Yeah, those are all fine with me. 11 is probably fine. That way by, 12:30 we're off eating.
You join at 10:30?
Dominique.
Yes.
All right, so we'd be joining at 10:30. So hopefully, I'm sure yours will be done by then, Margaret. All right, and Denise.
10:30. Wait a second. Yeah, we'll be done by then.
If you want, we can do it a little bit later. If you want, to do like if 11:30 better, we can do that.
No, it's up to you, Denise. How about you?
No, that's good. If we come on at 10:30 and then start the demonstration at 11, that's perfect.
Perfect. Everybody can go to lunch afterwards. All right, so we've got Dominique and Denise at 11 o'clock, which really means 10:30, on the 25th, Wednesday the 25th. Okay, so let's move on to Caitlin and Jessica. So Dominique and Denise, just watch. Margaret's going to book that and then send you the instructions for using that to register your participants, and you'll need to register as well.
Okay.
Okay. And okay, so Caitlin and Jessica, so same thing, we need to pick a day and a time between now and the 31st.
So Friday the 27th works for me. Does that work for you, Jessica?
Yes, it does.
The 27th?
Do you want to do, because I'm an hour ahead of you.
So that 9:30 is a practice for the lunch. That'll be an hour and a half. So we'll be good.
Oh, sorry.
We'll be good after 11.
And that's all Toronto time, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And you're at Halifax time?
No, I'm Esquimalt, Victoria. So.
Oh, you're 4 hours behind.
What
okay,
if we did?
Or 3
what
hours,
if we did?
Like at 1 o'clock on the 27th?
Or noon, because that would be 9 o'clock my time. Would that work?
Noon is 10 for me.
Noon would work. 9:30.
12 noon, which means, so are you okay, Caitlin, to join at 8:30 then, because you have to be there half hour ahead of time?
Yeah, that's fine.
And Jessica, 11:30 for you?
No, it's the joining at 9:30 for me.
No, okay, so we're talking about 12 noon on
On the 27th. And Jessica is in Wainwright.
Yeah, so noon Toronto time, Eastern time is good. So it's 9:30 for me.
So 9:30 for you. Oh, I'm sorry, I was thinking you're East Coast too. So 12 noon my time, which is 11:30, and then 9:30, and then 8:30, right? Okay, perfect.
Got me all confused.
Sorry about that, ladies. Okay.
So let me just confirm, January 27th at noon, we're going to book Caitlin and Jess, and they'll be there at 11:30. And Dominic and Denise, January 25th at 11, and they'll be there at 10:30.
Perfect, got it. All right. So ladies, same thing for you. Watch for Margaret's after session email, and then for the actual registration email, you're going to use that registration email first to register yourselves, and then you're going to use that to create a personalized invitation to the people of your choice. All right?
Perfect.
Awesome.
Okay. Great.
It's
ladies,
coming
thank
together
you.
nicely. Thank you so much, guys. You brought me a lot of joy today.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Margaret. Have a
Thank
good
you.
week.
Thanks, ladies. Hey, Margaret,
Have a good day.
for just a second.
For me?
Yeah, you.
Yeah, of course.
I need you.
I need you.
I think Denise forgot to get out Steal Next Speller. Kick her out.